Andrew, on today's show, we are interviewing Brooke McGowan. Now, Brooke McGowan is the co-founder of the MAGA Institute, the Make America Great Again Institute, where basically they help to vet and certify candidates to make sure that the people who you think are Republicans are actually Republicans. And why would that be important, Andrew?
Yeah, because there's so many times where people run as a Republican, but they don't actually have Republican values. They'll say
the mayor of Tulsa.
That's absolutely right.
The mayor of Tulsa is somewhere between a communist and an extreme socialist, but he ran as a Republican.
That's right, and he got in as a Republican, but come to find out, he's not.
Now, she is an Arizona poll watcher, and she's there right now as they're recounting all the votes in Arizona. And I just want to say I am praying right now for Brooke McGowan and the team out there to count those votes accurately, because America needs President Donald J. Trump to be our commander-in-chief, because the world needs a strong America, and America needs a strong church. All this and more on today's edition of the Thrive Time Show on your radio and podcast download as we interview Brooke McGowan.
Some shows don't need a celebrity narrator to introduce the show, but this show does. 2 men, 8 kids, co-created by 2 different women, 13 multi-million-dollar businesses. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Thrive Time Show.
Now, 3, 2, 1, here we go!
Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, now we here.
Yes, and yes. Andrew, I am fired up to interview today's guest. Today's guest is a great patriot and a great American.
Yes, she is.
Thrive Nation, psychologically prepare yourselves to interview, as we interview, perhaps one of the most patriotic people I have ever met, the one and only Brooke McGowan. Welcome on to the Thrive Time Show. How are you, man?
Oh, it's great to be here, Clay. It's great to be here in Maricopa County on the ground. It's great to be on your show. Thank you so much.
Hey, you are a freedom-loving, Bible-thumping, serpent-stomping activist working to unify America. Please explain to me what you're doing right now as a poll watcher. What are you doing?
Sure. So we came in with I'm with MAGA Institute. I'm co-founder of MAGA Institute. But Americans for Limited Government sent us in because he said, Congressman Paul Gosar needs your help, and we may need poll watchers. So we came in waiting on certification to get poll watchers. In the meantime, the Trump legal team arrived, so there was no need for us anymore. So what we're here doing now is a bunch of media and giving updates on the ground of what's happening here, right here in front of the Election Center board, which we are Maricopa County Election Center, which is all of the magic is happening inside with the Trump legal team.
What is the MAGA Institute for people out there that are not educated about what the MAGA Institute is?
Awesome. Thanks for asking. So with a friend of mine, early 2019, we decided to launch something called MAGA Institute, where we are vetting candidates across the country.
Yes.
We want to, we have a huge team of several volunteers through every county, every congressional district. My phone is getting hot, sorry. And they help us vet the candidates down to the wire. I mean, they know where they've been, they know what they've said, They know their histories. We dig it up, we look at opensecrets.com. We vet candidates. The thing that the party can't and won't do, Clay, the party lets Tom, Dick, and Harry and every commie into the party, and you can be on the ballot and call yourself. Every one of them stands on the stage and says, I'm the most conservative Republican on this ballot.
Right.
And then they go to D.C. and they're stinking rhinos. So what we're doing is we're cutting it off at the head before they even get on the ballot. We're letting you know by giving you a MAGA Institute certification, little badge of honor right here, MAGA Institute certified. If you meet the presidential, the MAGA criteria, it's not even about the man, it's about the mission, right?
Yeah, yep.
It's about the mission, making America great always, not just again, but always, and also America first. If that's on your mind and on your agenda, then you can get certified.
And just to make sure the listeners understand this idea, a conservative candidate that would be MAGA approved, and I'll throw out some scenarios, and you can tell me if this meets the criteria. They would be pro-life all the time. Is that correct?
All the time.
All the time.
Absolutely.
They would be pro-police, back the blue, support the police all the time. Is that correct?
All the time. Absolutely. Get out the corruption, but absolutely back the blue.
They would be pro-Constitution all the time, right? They wouldn't be selective about the Constitution, correct?
absolutely. I'm sorry. Someone's hearing me.
Oh, this adds to the texture of the show. Don't you worry about it, okay? So
right.
now you, right now in Arizona, tell us what's going on as America focuses its attention on you. I know you're going to be on Newsmax here in a matter of minutes. What is going on in Arizona with the voter fraud or lack thereof?
Sure. So we've been here on the ground since 9 o'clock this morning, where there was about 200, and then the next hour was about 2,000. It grew, and then maybe 3,000. It's less now. There looks like it'd be about 85 to 90 people here now, maybe 100.
Yes.
But earlier today, when Alex Jones came through and Charlie Kirk was speaking, Congressman Paul Gosar, who we're here to meet with, was speaking. Basically, we're wanting everybody to know Arizona is still in play. This is not over. Just because Fox called it, even though Fox, we've been telling everybody, don't be listening to the legacy media.
Right.
If your parents in their 70s are still watching legacy media, beg them off. Buy them a subscription to Newsmax or OAN or Clay Clark's show, but get them off of legacy media, because this is killing our country. They've got to be in bed with the deep state. There's no other reason why you would call Arizona.
Let me say this real quick here. I want to make sure the listeners out there know this. Roger Ailes was a big America loving individual. Well, he's no longer involved, obviously in Fox. And when you look at who's running Fox now, and I encourage everybody to look this up, don't trust me, go to DuckDuckGo. You can see the current people running Fox donated copious amounts of money to Joe Biden specifically this year. And that is if you go to DuckDuckGo, you can see it. They weren't hiding it. So it really, you follow the money, that's where it goes. So I want to ask you this now. We've got people out there that went to bed seeing President Donald J. Trump in the lead in key swing states, feeling good. They went to sleep. Oh, baby, I'm going to bed. It's midnight. I'm going to sleep. Yeah, Trump-tastic in the morning. They wake up, and it's like a vertical line on a graph of all of a sudden Joe Biden. You're starting to see states reporting, and I have a big document I'll add on to today's show notes so people can see this, where states had all these ballots coming in overnight that were 100% in favor of Joe Biden, not 10%, it's not even smart what they're doing. There's just like 100,000 ballots coming in all Biden. Are you seeing that kind of thing? Because we do have states, again, like Michigan, 138,339,000 ballots came in, not one for Trump. Are you seeing that kind of thing in Arizona? What's happening?
So no, that is not what we're seeing in Arizona. At this time, there still remain 400,000 or thereabouts votes that have not been counted, and they're dropping them every evening. Last night they dropped 74,000 to say these have been voted, these have been counted and certified, and that turned toward Trump 57%. Those 74,000 were Trump 57%. If that trend stays on, then Trump does have Arizona. But if that trend doesn't stay on, then we probably will have a recount on our hands in Arizona as well. Because there's no way that this is Biden country.
No, and I have a lot of people I know very well and business partners that are in Arizona, and they're telling me Trump flags are everywhere. People are fed up with Biden there.
Everywhere.
So, I mean, I agree with what you just said from what I can hear from people that I know very well. We have listeners out there that are very action-oriented. I'd say of our 500,000 listeners, the vast majority own a business or want to. They're very much into implementing. They're not into just a hearing. They're not just hearers. They are doers. So please educate our listeners. What can they do to help you, Miss Brooke, in the cause that you're fighting so hard for?
That's awesome. Thanks for asking. For people who are interested in supporting what we're doing, you can go to MAGAinstitute.com and give us a little push to keep us doing this for as long as we need to. But let me tell you, on your own, whatever state you're in, you can be contacting your GOP and find out, are they having rallies right now at the state capitol? So what I've seen is some states have state capitol rallies right now that look like this with the Trump flags, and also state GOP headquarters rallies. So find out where in your state you can get involved, because President Trump, Clay, he needs to know we're still in his corner. So we got to get out in droves, just like we did for the caravans, just like we did for the rallies and the tens of thousands across and I know people are willing and waiting and wanting to do this. So just tell your people, let's let them know, either your state capital or your state GOP headquarters, get in touch with other Trump people, find out where they're gathering, and get together with them. Trump is seeing this. He is seeing the swell.
Yep.
We have to let him know that we still have his back and beg him, do not concede. This man is a fighter. I don't expect him to.
Yeah.
People are talking like, oh, he might have to because of the media. That's why you have to call everyone who's watching media and
Yep.
tell them they're lying to them. They're in the Chinese Communist Party pocket, and stop listening to legacy media.
You're 100% correct.
Sorry,
and
I got emotional.
No, I want to encourage you because I feel the same way you do. Everybody manifests the urgency differently. Roger Stone and I spent a ton of time together here in Nashville, and he and I are rounding up people from all over the country are emailing us to info@thrivetimeshow.com examples of voter fraud. They're emailing us the video links, that can't be deleted, and we're archiving those. And it is shocking, the voter fraud that's going on from coast to coast. And I'm just telling you, I'm praying that the efforts that you're doing are gonna reap a harvest. I know that Jesus is king, and I know our president loves Jesus, and I know we're all standing in the gap right now. And I encourage everybody out there, we got it. So again, our listeners are taking notes right now. Repeat again, what can all of our listeners do right now, Brooke, to support you and our president? What do we need to do right now?
If you want to support us with what we're doing at MAGA Institute, please go to MAGAinstitute.com. When you want to show President Trump how much you're still supporting him, find out in your state, where are they getting together? Are they at the state capitol? Are they at the state GOP headquarters? I'm not sure. Some are different. So find out and get out there. The more, because that's what he needs to see. He needs to see that we have this same groundswell that we had before with the caravans and the boat flotillas. He needs to see the same groundswell that we are not giving up, because we know he won't give up on us.
Now,
one more thing I want to say. When you said that, when you were talking like that about God and what's happening, I just want to mention the shofar was being blown right over there. And this is a spiritual battle. We know that this is stuff that's going on in the heavenlies. This is not just on our plane. This is happening in the heavenlies. Take it to the Lord. Stay on your knees in front of the gates, in front of the throne. Because I really feel like, Clay, when we see the blatant, seriously, you were saying filling in the ballots, they're not ashamed to show us how they're cheating. So that means it's blatant. I think it's a trap. I think it's a lure for patriot Americans to be sick, fed up to hear, and to do something about it. We have to stay in the peace process. The last time the Democrats threw a temper tantrum, we had civil war. We have to do everything we can to stop that. Let the Holy Spirit be your guide. Listen to what God has to say.
Yes.
This is our the Baal moment, when they're out there celebrating that they've got all these states, but Elijah just stood back and let the prophets of Baal dance in front of the altar. I mean, this is our Elijah moment. So we have to remain vigilant, and we have to remain before the throne, and we have to stay with the Holy Spirit.
I want to pile on here, and I'll let you get back to your next interview. Ephesians chapter 1, verses 16. It says, cease not to give thanks for you, making mention of you in my prayers, that the God of our Lord Jesus Christ, the Father of glory, may give unto you the spirit of wisdom and revelation in the knowledge of him, that your eyes of understanding be enlightened, and that ye may know what is the hope of his calling, and what the riches of the glory of his inheritance in the saints, and what is the exceeding greatness of his power to usward who believe, according to the working of his mighty power. Folks, what we're talking about is Ephesians chapter 6, verses 12 through 13 reads, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, as you mentioned, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness and of this world, against spiritual wickedness in the high places. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand. I'm claiming this in advance. We're going to win this. I'm praying for you. Do not lose faith. Nobody out there lose faith. It's going to happen. If this goes to the Supreme Court, we've got people up there that now love this Constitution as much or more than any of our listeners. We are going to win. We cannot lose faith. I appreciate you so much. I will be praying for you. Thank you for taking the time out. And by the way, when you see Charlie Kirk, he's been Thrive Time dodging. He's a busy man. I'm going to get him on the show. You say, Charlie, Clay Clark's stalking you. You get him on the show for us, all right? You take care, Brooke.
Yeah. Thank you, Clay. God bless you.
You too. Bye. And now, without any further ado, 3, 2, 1, boom!
If I lived in China or even Russia or any totalitarian country, maybe I could understand some of these illegal injunctions. Maybe I could understand the denial of certain basic First Amendment privileges because they haven't committed themselves to that over there. But somewhere I read of the freedom of assembly. Somewhere I read of the freedom of speech. Somewhere I read of the freedom of press. So just as I say, we aren't going to let any dogs or water hoses turn us around. We aren't going to let any injunction turn us around.
Gotta pick a side, man, it's do or die. Tryna stay up in the middle, man, that's suicide. Be hot or be cold, what's it gonna be? Spoil me with loyalty, it's all I wanna see. If you ain't saying nothing, then you saying something. What you see is what you get, man, I ain't never frontin'. I see your problem, I'm lazy, cause I ain't never running. Opposition passing it off, cause they ain't never wanted. Come on, time to say goodbye, it is you and I.
When you compromise, it will multiply.
We ain't never scared to put it on the line.
It's time to pick a side, it's do or die.
Time to pick a side, homie, do or die.
When you compromise, it will multiply.
We ain't never scared to put it on the line.
It's time to pick a side, it's do or die. No mess, no backs for me. Both middle fingers up for Dr. G. I'm never gonna listen to his latest pitch or the scarf queen. His Dr. Brooks is up. I'm an American with the First Amendment and the Second Amendment to defend it. You want our guns? Well, come and take it. Hope you're good at dodging bullets and you're praying. The year 2020, the year of perfect vision. The time when you and I have to make a decision. Open up your minds like Hunter's laptop. But when you see corruption, this time it's gotta stop. Back the police, say no to the beast. No to the mask, take no vaccine. Back the police, say no to the beast. No to the mask, take no vaccine.
Time to say goodbye, it is you and I.
When you compromise, it will multiply.
We ain't never scared to put it on the line.
It's time to pick a side, it's do or die.
Time to pick a side, homie, do or die.
When you compromise, it will multiply.
We ain't never scared to put it on the line.
It's time to pick a side, it's do or die.
If you compromise, it'll multiply. Treat you like a doormat, treat you speak your mind. Ain't hard to find, you must be blind if you can't see the sign. I got a spine, I won't ever let them take what's mine. Time to unify, I'm talking you and I. If you ain't riding for the cause, better move aside. Sit back, watch me work, I'ma do it right. Time for you to pick a side, it's looking like a do or die. Time to say goodbye, it is you and I.
When you compromise, it will multiply.
We ain't never scared to put it on the line.
It's time to pick a side, it's do or die.
Time to pick a side, homie, do or die.
When you compromise, it will multiply.
We ain't never scared to put it on the line.
It's time to pick a side, it's do or die.
Our country will never be a socialist country. We're not going to let it happen.
And that is another lyrical miracle on the Thrive Time Show.